Hello and welcome to a Universal Islands of Adventure full park walkthrough. Now we're actually starting in the middle of the park, which I do believe is Toon Lagoon, just to be something a little bit different, and then we're just going to do a full loop, and then we will finish obviously walking down the port of entry where it's all nice to see pitch black at night. So this is basically a one take, so it's just going to get darker and darker as we go. All of the lands are available in a much more detailed look, so we do go inside all the shops and everything like that, but this is literally just a tour of the outside. So the land that we are in currently, like I said, we are in Toon Lagoon, so you have got all sorts of different bits and pieces here. So you have got the classic comic strip characters, me, Ship and Oliver, Popeye and the Blinge Rat Barge. You've got the Dudley Do-Right's Ritual Falls, which actually closed at the time of me being there, but then it opened up on the last day, I do believe. Then you have got the comic strip calf. You've got blondies and wimpies, all different areas of the park to eat a lot of food at. So you can see how colourful this section of the park is. It looked absolutely stunning. So it's just a nice thing to have a look at. And I do believe that this was the reason why I started here, because I was just going to make this as an area tour, and then I realised actually the park was quite quiet, so I just ended up carry on walking around. But you can see there, look, that is the comic strip calf. The places of the buildings are absolutely massive on the inside. The Islands of Adventure side of the theme park is a full mix of sort of roller coasters and everything like that, whereas the Universal Studios side, because it is two completely separate parks, they are more sort of screened-based bits and pieces. But I do believe some of the other parks around the world are slightly hybrid ones. So, for example, the Universal Studios in Hollywood is one big park over two levels. Some of it is roller coaster based, some of it's got like a big park tour, and other bits and pieces are, again, are sort of simulators. So it'd be interesting to see if I can ever get to that one and see what that one looks like. But there are multiple Universal parks around the world. So if you've been to any of the other parks around the world, let us know what you think of them. Let us know what your more local one is. Because the good thing is, for this channel especially, is that they seem to put a lot of the Universal parks quite close to the Legoland parks. I say quite close, about an hour to 2 hours away from each other. The only place that we don't have a Universal really is over in the UK, because they've got one very, very similar over in Japan. So that is potentially doable. They've got one over in California. They've got one over in Hollywood as well. So obviously the Legoland parks is about 8 or 9 of them all opening up at the moment. There is going to be one opening up in Singapore, and I do believe there is a Universal Studios already in Singapore. And then you've also got Beijing, so the one in Beijing has just recently opened up, and there will be a Legoland Beijing opening up. And then over in Singapore / Malaysia, you have got the Legoland and Universal parks over there already. So there is plenty of content to come from this channel, because obviously we are called the Detached Brick for a reason, trying to plan all different family holidays with regards to what you can do on your week away. And in the time that I'm back home, there'll just be unboxing videos and me making an absolute meal of the Lego room. So as this is a full tour and we are walking around, we will be coming into the next zone, which I do believe will be the Marvel, or should I say the Superhero Island, which is actually Marvel Superhero Island. So in this, you can see in the distance that massive green roller coaster, which is obviously the Incredible Hulk coaster. You've then got Storm Force, you've got the Doctor Doom Fearfall. That is a very good looking thing just to the right hand side there. You've got the double drop tower. Then you've got the Daily Bugle, which is where it hones the amazing adventures of Spider-Man. Then you've got a meet and greet in section number 5, where they sort of run around as a team of X-Men, and you can sort of almost figure out where they actually end up, because some of the cardboard cutouts that are on the wall is actually where they end up standing, and then you can meet and greet everybody. So that would be pretty cool to see that again during the day, because I did actually see them all come out. They used to come out on bikes, and then obviously in COVID I think they stopped certain bits and pieces, and then it's sort of changed again ever so slightly. But if you've been there recently, let us know what characters that they are using. You've then got CAF 4, that's where you can eat. So F, G and H on the map is CAF 4. Then you've got Auntie Annie's Pretzels, and then you've got the Captain America Diner. So again, huge scaled buildings on all of these bits and pieces there. Again, lots and lots to see, lots and lots to soak in. Now, how this park works, it is pretty cool, because you can literally just walk around the lake around the outside, and there is a couple of different bits and pieces where you can sort of peel off to if you want to. So for example, when you get to the Jurassic Park section, if you wanted to miss the Harry Potter, you can just use that as a bit of a cut through, and then you can loop back round on yourself. But it's basically, if you didn't have a map, or you weren't great with directions, or you just wanted to go zone to zone, when you first come into the park, which you'll be seeing in a minute, if you were to turn left, you then come into the Hulk section, which is all of these bits and pieces that you see, And then if you get the early access to the park and you want to go over to the Harry Potter, you just go in and turn right. Now, again, this land, we have sort of started to dissect this land up into multiple videos. I have learnt my lesson to do more shop videos for everybody, because I know you like having a look at all the merchandise and things in every single land. So I didn't do a very good job at that visit for this, but when the future visits happen, I will make sure I do a better job. But we have gone on the Fearfall, and I have got a separate video of the queue line and everything in there, and there are a lot of time challenge videos already available in the Universal/Disney playlist with regards to what else there is to do. Like the thing to the right hand side, there is a big shop. There's another comic shop again to the right hand side, where all of those videos are available in individual bits. So this is literally just a walkthrough, and then each individual land then gets dissected up into more greater detail. But what I do like about this is, as it just gets to this sort of lighting, is that you can just see all of the detail with regards to the lights, the sort of the big cutouts. Even the Hulk looks fantastic. Now, doing the Hulk when it's dark is completely different, because you can't really see too much what's coming, especially if you're at the back. Now, it is good fun. It's not so much showing its age at the moment, but it's probably one of the more, out of the three big coasters, I would say it is the rougher of the three on this side, because it's obviously going up against Hagrid's, which is a lot newer, and then it's also going up against the incredible Jurassic Park coaster, which we will be having a look at in a little bit. But you can see again just how clean that CAF 4 looks. I think it looks really, really smart. It does look very, very effective, I think, as you're walking around. And it's a big on the inside as well, so there's plenty of seating on the inside. And again, with all the different sections at Universal compared to other parks around the world, you have got plenty of places to sit on the outside as well, which is really, really nice. You can easily just sit down, grab a bite to eat, and they've got these little pop-up stands in the middle of the park, so they sort of open up staggered. And then you have a huge city walk that connects both of the theme parks together. And then obviously we've already been having a look at all the different hotels and everything like that. But you have got a very heavily themed toilet there to the right hand side, and then you've got the incredible Hulk coaster, and then a little bit further down you've got the Storm Force ride as well. So there's lots of different bits and pieces within this section. So there's 3 good rides just within the Marvel superhero section, and then you've got good amount of eateries, and you've also got a good amount of shops. So this is definitely a place to come to if you love your comics, if you like your Marvel. This is where you want to be coming into, and you can spend a huge amount of time as well. So if you're a toy collector or a Lego collector or anything like that, or even just merchandise, if you've got any affiliation to anything Marvel related, you can pick it up from here, so you don't have to rush around. That is the beautiful thing about Universal. If you're feeling a bit tired, you can just sit yourself down. Also, the good thing about a lot of the Universal sections is that they do have multiple level rides. So obviously, if you love your roller coasters, this is the thing that you want to be getting on, and you can, as you know, people will be screaming their head off as they're shooting around on that ride. It is a really, really cool thing to see. But then you've got the Storm Force ride a little bit further down, so that is, again, not too bad for that one. Then you've got the drop tower, so if you're scared of heights, you won't like that one, but that is a cool thing where it just shoots you from the bottom upwards, I think, rather than it being a drop tower, it goes from top to bottom. I think that's the way it goes, because in Dubai it is the other way round, where you go up to the top and then it free falls down. So some of them are blasts off and some of them are fear falls, so they can obviously set them up differently. And potentially, I would imagine that they'll be able to rotate it around. So they might have one doing one thing, one doing the other. But at the time of me sort of walking around, or every time I got on to that ride, it was always just the one working. Right, so this is the entrance. So that is where we're going to walk down last. So rather than me walking all the way down to walk all the way back up, this is, again, another reason why I just did a loop from where I did, because we'll finish there and walk all the way down. Otherwise, I have to walk down one side and walk back up again, and then it would just be a bit of a nightmare. And I'm too lazy, and my legs were probably hurting and everything like that. So that was a past me problem, and now it's a future me problem, remembering where I'm going. Now, the next section that you see, very, very bright and vibrant. So we are going backwards. So we've done the Marvel Hero Island, we've done Toon Lagoon, but now what we have done is we have obviously taken a right from the entrance, and we're about to go into Seuss Landing, I do believe. So this has all sorts of different bits and pieces. This is also quite cool, because at the time of me being here, it was a Grinchmas. So it had the Grinch absolutely everywhere in here. The theming in this section was fantastic when it came to this. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what this land is like for Halloween, because obviously the amount of effort that they put in for their Christmas specials and the Halloween specials and things like that, I think it always looks absolutely fantastic. But on the map, we have got number 25 all the way to X. So we have got the High in the Sky trolley train ride. So that is the track that you can see in the distance over the spinning carousel. And then number 26 is the carousel. Number 27 is Oh, the Stories You'll Hear. So that is, I do believe, like a little sing-song. And number 28 is the Dr. Zeus character zone. So that is, again, you've got meet and greet dotted all over the place. 29, you've got one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Try and say that quickly. And then number 30, you've got the Cat in the Hat. Number 31 is If I Ran the Zoo. And then U, V, W, and X, I do believe, are all food related. So see if you can spot this. You have got Moose Juice, Goose Juice, Hop on Pop Ice Cream Shop. You've got the Circus McGurkus, Calf Stew Pendomus. I can't believe that these are actually written down on the map. And then you have got Green Eggs and Ham Calf. So good luck finding all of those. So that is what's dotted within this, and obviously you can see just how wide this section is with regard to just the theme park itself. It is a large land, large area, but you can see that you've got that little calm train track going around the outside. Again, you get a good view of the land, you get a good view of the park from up there as well. There is your one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, and then obviously that's a nice photo opportunity, and then you can just walk around there and get some nice photos and things. Again, you have got the Grinchmas, so you can see that they're advertising that. That was actually almost like a 45-minute show that they put on. That thing was brilliant. I actually ended up going in there and watching that, and they actually took you around the back lots. So you saw where they do a lot of filming for all of the other Universal products as well. So it's amazing just how large the facility is. It's not just these two massive theme parks. They have got backlots and everything like that. And what they ended up doing is that was on the Universal Studios park. So you actually collected it from here. You then walked past all the backlots, got to the big roller coaster on the other theme park, stood behind that roller coaster, joined a different queue, and then got in. So it was a good amount of walking, but it was also very, very clever. And you can see here, look, there's your Christmas carols going on. So there is another character meet and greet. So those guys and girls worked extremely hard, because they would be the same people that would have been doing the shows, and they would have done a couple of shows a day. And it's just one of those things that if you ever get a chance to watch it, I would highly recommend it. It's a good bit of fun, and it is, yeah, very, very well done. But what they're going to be doing for this year, next year, depending on when you're watching this, I have absolutely no idea. But then obviously let us know in the comments below if you have seen something different, and if they do rotate it around a lot, because I don't know if it's just a traditional Christmas show that they put on, or if they always chop and change it about. So if it's a bit like the Halloween Horror Nights, where they have really, really nice walkthrough attractions, and they've got a Chucky one this year, I do believe. I'm hoping that when I go over there for Halloween, they will have a Halloween attraction there from the original Halloween film. That would be amazing to go and see. But again, we'll see exactly what is what with regards to licensing. So this land is huge, as you can see. So we are still going through. So like I said, there was a lot of different bits and pieces on that map. So I do believe coming from here, we're going to be going into the Lost Continent, which I have a very funny feeling now that a lot of this land has closed. So I have read reports that the Poisson Fury, I've butchered that name, is shut. So I actually did manage to do that. That was like a attraction where it was almost like a walkthrough thing, but it had a live performer as a tour guide, and there was some really, really nice effects and everything like that, and it was huge on the inside. But I do believe that was one of the original rides to open with the park, and now they have closed the doors on that. But they have got, by the looks of it, a lot of different bits and pieces going on for Universal with regards to a brand new theme park opening up with brand new lands. You've got the Super Mario section to come. I do believe you've got a brand new Harry Potter area coming in the new theme park as well. So if you're a Harry Potter fan, that's going to be amazing. I think that's due to open up in 2025. So if you are watching this from the future, let me know what you thought. If I haven't been there yet, then I'd love to go. So who knows what the future holds and brings. But we're now going out that land into the next section. So like I said, it is rough and ready. You can see just how quickly the theming changes. So you can go from all the really nice brights with all the Christmas decorations. Obviously, a lot of those bright lights were there anyway. And then you have this. That, I think, looks amazing. So you've got all of the really, really nice lights just flickering off the water. That's what I mean about the big water that's in the middle. You just keep walking around the outside. So everything else that is still to come. Let's have a quick look at the map as I stop and have a look. So we still have to have a look at Skull Island, that's short and sweet, and then we've got a nice look at the Jurassic Park, and then I do believe we'll go through Harry Potter as well, and then we've got the port of entry. So this, I think, on the map is the second smallest land, because this takes you from number 23 to T. So there's two things on here. So you've got the fountain, which I do believe is the bit that we're just having a look at, and then you have the Fury ride. And then you have some very, very good eateries. They've actually got some awards in there, so you have to really book in advance for that. You've got a kebab house, you've got the Fire Eaters Grill, and then you've got the Mythos Restaurant. So you can see that it's basically, well, you know, you can see exactly what that's supposed to simulate with all the underwater. So it looks like Atlantis, and then you just go round, and it does look really, really good. But that thing there always was people asking if they could book in for a table, and it was always busy. I stuck my head through, never sat in there to grab a bite to eat, but it looked like it was very, very good food. Now remember, this is all one take with regards to what we've seen so far. So the first 15 minutes, I haven't stopped, we haven't skipped anything, but it gets dark really, really quickly. So that is one thing that you have to put up with, that obviously you just have to focus in on all the lights. It's only a little camera, but I think it copes with it fairly easy enough. When we get into the centre of the lands, it's just a little bit dark when we go from sort of one bit to another. Now this is another bit that's got a couple of different bits of shops, so this is what we've already gone over, and this is the eatery. That bit just there is where they had a lot of performers on during the day, but this is also what I meant about what you can do is you can miss sections of the park if you're not careful. So as we come up in a minute with this, you might start to recognise where we are now, because in the early entry video that I did where everybody was running through to Harry Potter section, the queue line to one of the Harry Potter rides actually started around this area. So they actually took you around the back of one of the areas, and they joined you in. Now you can see in the distance you have got the Harry Potter sort of archway, but you can skip that archway, and you can also turn left at a slightly earlier point and miss all of this section of the land completely, and then you can go into the Jurassic Park section. So you've got to be a little bit careful. So if you just keep going round, like I said, and just walk round in a circle, you'll be absolutely fine. Obviously you guys and girls are going to know that the Harry Potter section's here, so it's not something that you're going to miss. So if you're going to want to see all the Harry Potter bits and pieces, then what you can obviously do is just make sure that you know what you're doing with regards to it being there, because you do not want to miss it if you're just going to be rushing around for a day, because that would not end well. You would not want to do the whole park and then realise that you've cut off basically the most popular part of the park, which is this bit just here. This thing is massive. It looks stunning at night as well. So we're going to walk through Hogsmeade now. You can see all of a sudden how the people and the volume of people have just picked up, because people just stay here for absolutely ages, because there's a couple of different bits and pieces to do on this side. The other side is much busier. So if you were to get on the train, or you had the multi-hop park pass ticket, you can just get in onto the other side. You can go into the entry for the other side at Universal Studios, and then you walk down the alleyway, and that is just outstanding with the food that you can have in there and everything. So there are multiple videos, like I've said, available of this area. We've done the rides as a challenge, we've gone into all the shops, we've done a land tour of this zone, and all of those are available. And you've got the exact same thing from the other side of the park, either coming or it's already been uploaded, depending on when you're watching this video. So in this section, it's number 17 to 22 with regards to different bits and pieces to do, and then P and Q for the food. So you have got the Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey on this side. You've then got the Frog Chair and the Spirit Rally. You've got Ollivanders. You've got the main ride, which is Hagrid's Magical Motorbike Adventure. Then you've got the Hogwarts Express, which is the train station just as you came in on the archway. And then you've got Hog's Head, and then you've got the 3 broomsticks for food. So you have got a couple of different rides in here, but you can just see how busy it gets. It's one of those bits where if you get into it at the wrong time, it is extremely busy. But all of these people, if I remember rightly, are either queuing up for the light show. I think that's what they're doing. I think there's a light show going on. So that member of staff was waiting. So yes, it is. So all those people to the right hand side, the queue is the full length of this land. So there's got to be about 1,000 people in there, and you can see the light show that is going on in the background. Now I have actually managed to film that light show. I was very lucky in doing so, and it is very, very good. So you can easily hunt that video down as well. I'll try and link that one to this video if I can, just because it's worth watching. And I'd really like to know what they do for Halloween. I'd like to know if they do change this for other periods. But you can see you've got members of staff getting people out, and it is a one-way only as well. So you cannot walk back into this section of the park at this time from the next section that we're about to see, which is the Jurassic Park section. So there's plenty of different bits and pieces that we can have a look at coming in, but you can just see in the distance that light show, and like I said, that is available in a completely different video, and it does look very, very good, I think. So again, now we've gone dark, you can see that we are about to be leaving. We're walking over the bridge, we're having a look at the light show on the Harry Potter castle. That castle is absolutely massive. I think it does look very, very good. You can see in the background there's a bit of a roller coaster to the right hand side. That is another Harry Potter land, so that does look very, very smart indeed. Now, as we come through, here we go into the Jurassic Park gates, which I think looks beautiful lit up at night. I don't know if all 4 flames are working, because sometimes they go out during the day. Have we just got the 2? So we just got the 2 now. We've got one at the top left and one at the bottom right. So I don't think every time I walk through this and filmed it, it's been a different combination completely. But we're going through, so you can start humming the Jurassic Park theme tune to yourself, because that is playing continuously in this land, which is obviously always really, really nice to see. So this land is absolutely massive, because they have put a big extension on. Now you can walk in a straight line and you can just keep going, and then you can just carry on going basically to where we were, but we've now kind of got to go left and then loop it back on ourselves, because this is where you can get a little bit tricky with regards to you having to do a bit of a figure of 8. So let's have a quick look and see what is available. So we have got the Camp Jurassic. You have then got a ride that wasn't open, which was a flyers ride. That was number 12 on the map. Google that, because I am not going to try and pronounce that name. You've got the Jurassic Park River Adventure, which is their log flume, which is very, very good. You've got the Raptor Encounter, again, looks very, very smart. You've got the Jurassic Park Discovery Centre, so that is the big shop, and that is also available in Lego form currently. You've then got the Jurassic World Velocicoaster, which is a massive thing. You've got plenty of places to eat as well. So you've got Thunder Falls Terrace, you've got a pizza place, you've got a Burger Digs, and you've got the watering hole, which is L, M, N, and O on the map. So this area, like I said, is huge. Going by that silhouette, we are walking down to, all of this is new, I do believe, or the newest addition to the park, because you used to not be able to do this with a guy into walking to here. This, I think, they built into the water, and then they built another bridge that skips the Harry Potter section. So all of that has all of that's been added in. None of that was there originally. Now the coaster is going, so there is screams. There we go, and that thing is absolutely flying. So if you want to try and do that ride in the dark, go for it. That's the new bridge that they put in. So this whole area, you've not explored this yet, is worth doing. And then you can see that you've got one of the most detailed queue lines I've seen in absolutely ages, going all the way down into there. If the queue is relatively close to the outer edge, there is lots of different bits and pieces with regards to, if the queue's just to the outer edge and you just then start walking in, lots of different bits and pieces you can do within the queue line, and it doesn't take that long whatsoever. So there is a good amount of things that you can do in there. Now there's another sort of cut through, so where you just saw that Jurassic Park symbol just to the right hand side, if you were to walk straight through that then actually take you into the shop, and then you would cut in to the next section or you would just skip a corner basically, which I think again is a nice thing, because if you didn't want to keep walking around, you just wanted to save your legs, so they have given you plenty of opportunity. But where this queue is from now, it will not take you that long. So it's about 45 minutes I think from there, but you are continuously moving. It is a high turnover ride, and you can see there's another one going, so they are always going around. There's a couple of them on the track at the same time. The ride is massive, the ride is very, very quick. If you ever go to this park, it is worth doing, because it is outstanding. It's the best ride I have ever been on, so I highly recommend that to everybody. Now with regards to that ride, and if you are staying in a Universal hotel, you do get early access to the park. Now this leads me on to one of the last videos that we did with regards to, is it worth getting up early for? Because what a lot of people tend to do is that they'll run into the park and go to the Hagrid's ride first, because it is one of those I think every single person wants to stay that they've done. But because that is open as well as the Jurassic Park one, you can easily, I had no problem, I walked straight onto the ride first thing in the morning. No running, just at the pace I'm going now, just watch everybody else run around the park. They got to where they wanted to go. I walked at this pace and walked straight on front row, and it was amazing. So it was a very, very good thing to do. I would definitely go there again just for that roller coaster. I did go on it a good handful of times, so there was plenty of different places you could sit with regards to try and make it a little bit different. Now, what the cool thing is, they do have a single rider line if you wanted to. The only thing doing that is that you do skip quite a lot of the detail of the queue line. So that's the only thing about being a single rider. It's a shorter walkway, not necessarily a quicker time getting on, because if you wanted to do the longer queue and not the single queue line, then you just get paired up with a single rider anyway, because obviously some people go as singles, some people go as threes. But I like to see both queue lines, because obviously I always go to the parks myself, but it is what it is. But I think it was quicker going on the double than it was on the single. But when you get through, you then also have a separate queue to get on the front row. So you basically queue to queue if you want to do the front row. If you don't want to do the front row and you just want to go in anywhere, you'll just get fed on at any seat that's available. Then you can just crack on and go, and it's just nice and simple. Right, I've still got about 15 minutes left, but there's not too much more of the park to see with regards to the lands and things. It's just the lands are big. So we're still walking through the Jurassic Park now, so we're actually back to where you can't walk down, and then we're just going to walk straight up and through. So that is the Jeep. You can make that out. There is a big dinosaur just there as well. Then we're going to come into all the different places that you can sort of eat and buy bits and pieces. So again, this is the set that is currently out in the Lego form. This is the Discovery Centre. On the inside of that is amazing. That is the way you come out if you use that as the cut through. So that is the front of where I said, oh, if you went through the back, you can just skip what I've done as a walk and then just cut straight through. Then you can carry on walking in a straight line. Then you go past about, I think there's 3 different play-to-plays. So you've got 3 different ones of these. They look all right. It's something that I would never do at a theme park. These are slowly starting to disappear at a lot of the different theme parks now. They're just obviously using the space for different things. But it is sort of almost in the right area for that at that right time. If you just want to do something a little bit chilled out, you want to try and win a teddy bear, or it's just coming to the end of the day, they weren't in the way. It was a big area that you could just do some different bits and pieces in. Then from there, I do believe we've got the log flume. Then we've got the pizza place. And then there are a couple of other different bits and pieces as well, and then we move on to the next bit. But we have got less than 15 minutes left, so we are very slowly starting to run out of time. So I'm going to get it in now. If you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Don't forget there is multiple videos available in the different playlists. So we've got Lego unboxing videos, we've got my disaster of a Lego room playlist that always is about, so always in smashing different bits and pieces. But then obviously on this channel, the plan is that when I book a Legoland holiday or just a travel holiday, what I will try and do is go to a big theme park like this, and then film all the accommodation, how easy it is to get about, and then what else you can do Lego related around these theme parks as well. So it is almost like a hybrid channel, and obviously with it being Universal, it's always got nice good licenses that we can have a look at. And we are still looking at the Jurassic Park bit, because that is still the track from the massive roller coaster on the left hand side, and the right hand side is this river adventure, which is a full-blown log flume. Now, comparing the 2 Universal parks, I do believe this, well, I know this one is still the original OG Jurassic Park film, which is what I absolutely love. But I think the Universal Studios in Hollywood is the newer updated one. Now that is just the end of display for the fireworks for that light show. So that light show would have just finished. That have gone off twice. I don't know if it's going to go off again, or that was the second one. And then all of those people that were waiting will now start to try and get close to the Hogwarts, because that castle, there would have been hundreds and hundreds of people stood there watching that light show. They'll move, and then that big queue that we saw, they'll then start feeding them in. So like I said, it's worth doing if you can, but you do need to sort of budget a huge amount of time for it if you specifically want to see it. Now that is the outfitters shop to the right hand side. I actually did get a really nice hoodie from there, and it's washed really well. So if you are wondering what the quality of the clothing's like, I've worn the Jurassic Park hoodie a good few times now, and it washes absolutely fine, so it's not a problem whatsoever. And I do believe if, as and when I go back to one of the parks, I will definitely be packing that with me, because it's just a good weighted hoodie. Now that is the splash, so that is the actual, that's how wet you get basically going down on that drop. Amazing animatronics just at the top, and then as you come down, it's just one of those rides. If you sit in the wrong place, you will get absolutely drenched. So you just got to be careful with that one, because you could get soaking wet very, very, very quickly, but it is definitely worth doing. So if you are a fan of log flumes and water rides, I highly recommend that one. And obviously, depending on what time of season you go, because the locals would think it's quite cold going in sort of end of September, October, November, there's never a queue. Whereas foreign people still think it's nice and warm, and they'll get on it, and then they just dry off. The only thing I will say is that if you are wearing something that you wanted to wear for the rest of the week, the water does smell a little bit, just because of, well, see, it's just a log flume water, and I got drenched, and it did have a bit of a tinge to it, so I ended up having to wash some of the bits and pieces in the shower, and then just hopefully it dried by the end of the week. But it's all part and parcel of absolutely everything. So again, you can see you've got those like the little outside stores where you can buy some different bits and pieces. And now we're coming into Kong. So this is the smallest section because it is literally just Kong. So it has its own land. You just walk into it. It is called Skull Island, and then you just have Skull Island, Reign of Kong, and then you just move on then back to the next section, which I was about to say is a superhero section, but I don't think it is. I think we could then walk through Toon Lagoon into the Marvel superhero section, and then we just cut back down, and then we go down the bit that we just needed to start on. So we are in the final 10 minutes. So I've done a full loop, and it has got this dark that quickly in 30 minutes. So I don't know what time it is, because I should have on my phone looked at the time, but the park is open for a good amount of time still. I think there'll be at least another hour left. So Toon Lagoon, amazing area. Now this is the bit that we haven't yet seen from Toon Lagoon, because we're going over the bridge, which we're all boarded off. So there is a absolutely monstrous log flume. So this bridge to the left and the right hand side is all log flume based, and the ride to the right, big old drop, really good fun animatronics and everything on the inside of that. Now I do believe they had a bit of an incident with it with regards to it breaking down or something, so I don't know if there was a fire or some sort of something. This is when the park was closed, so they gave it a massive refurb and a big repaint, and the colour that they put it on the outside looks brilliant. So all these boards that you now see on the right hand side on the last day of me being there disappeared, and you could just see everything, and it looked cracking. So we haven't seen any of this yet, because we started a little bit further up in Toon Lagoon, so it was a good area to start on, actually, I think. Because just to the right hand side is where it's still boarded off. To the left hand side, if you were to spin round and go down on the left, there is probably the world's wettest ride in there. You are always going to be drenched. It's really good fun, but you are either going to need to wear a proper theme park cover, because you are stuffed basically if you keep walking down in a straight line. The amount of people that I saw got off that and they were drenched, and there is a place that you can people watch, but that's the full tour. So that is how the tour finishes. Now we're just going to jump through this section again, because the Toon Lagoon we had already done. We're just having a quick look at all of this a little bit darker, because obviously it looks really, really smart. And then we are just going to walk from here and then down to the next section. So you can see just what these look like now, all lit up properly, because when we first went in there, it wasn't pitch black. So you can just see how this looks like. We are going the right way, so we are walking past the diner. We're walking towards the Hulk, and then we will just turn left over the bridge, turn right, and then we're at the port of entry where it's got all the shops, and then we are completely finished. But you can see just what the neon lights look like now with it being pitch black behind. I think it just looks really, really smart. Now Spiderman looks very, very good. You can see Doc Ock there with his tentacles. You got to really spot around. You've got different things hiding in different windows. Yes, you've got a cash point or an ATM just in front of you if you want to get any of those out. I do believe that is actual money, not park credits or tokens. So I think that's how that still works. Correct me if I'm wrong. That is a huge Daily Bugle for the big Spider-Man, which looks very, very cool. Just going inside and experiencing the queue line of that alone is definitely worth doing. It can be a massive wait for the queue. That is actually something I forgot to say that was there going by the Marvel superhero section, because I said about the drop tower, I said about the Hulk, and then we saw the X-Force one, and I completely forgot about the Spider-Man one. So that is there, so don't forget that. And then you do have multiple stores like this. So that is in another video where it's just a big store with a lot of merchandise on the inside. So that again will be up at some point. You can see who that is there from the X-Men team up at the top, and then you've got the Claw just coming through and down. Again, that looks very, very smart. So we are just looking at, I think what I've done is walked on the opposite side this time. So some of these bits and pieces I think I might have missed with the excitement of walking through the park the first time. And I don't think it's just as busy, because there is a lot of stuff to take in. So they are saying about the shop, and then you've got another shop just beside that. They're all filmed. That is your Fearfall, so you can see both of those just in there. So this it is. I have no idea if it blasts off or drops. I'm sure one did one thing and one did the other when I was there. But again, correct me, let me know. And then coming through, you can see just some more artwork just at the top. So I think that was the first time I spotted that one. So you've got to know who that one is. Come on, get it in the comments below. Kingpin up at the top above the arcade sign. And that's obviously the big arcade. It's a big, big place on the inside of that. What I really do like is how all the fascias hide bits and pieces, and they sort of link into the exits of queue lines, and they link you into different shops and all sorts of different bits and pieces like that. It just works really well. Now, what they are doing, there is a open late night event. I think it's a private hire. So all these drinks and everything that you are seeing now is for something. Now, I did look to see if there was a late event ticket on this night, and there wasn't. So I'm assuming it was for a private hire for something. I don't know if they just get a load of the universities down there or the colleges, because I have done something like that at Disney before, and I highly recommend doing it. It costs the same as a normal park ticket. You are there a good few hours less. However, they do supply you with drink, and there is nobody waiting to queue on anything whatsoever. So highly recommend that, as the Hulk goes torpedoing past us. So again, if you're into your roller coasters and you want to get on that one, I would recommend it. But yeah, if you're nauseous, it's the risk you take. But I do like that, and I like how it goes underneath the bridge, shoots through the tunnel, and then it goes on to the other side. This side of the track is a lot tighter. I found this side of the track a lot rougher than the other side, so you've got thrown around a little bit on that side. But again, it is what it is with that one. I do believe some of the other Universal parks have something very, very similar with regards to a track layout, but they do have different trains, and they have a different sort of track with regards to the actual track type as well. So it's done by a different coaster company, and I think it just runs a little bit smoother. So that is on my list of things maybe to hunt down and see what we can do with that. So this is now all new. This is the port of entry, so this is also the way that you can come in, and obviously the way you leave. So there is some different bits and pieces on here, so let's have a quick look at the map just to see exactly what's what as we finish. So you have got places to buy a lot of stuff. So obviously, when I say buy a lot of stuff, it's basically for all those people that get there super early, because you've got a Starbucks, you've got a backwater bar, you've got a cinnamon, you've got a grill, and then you've got a Moon Bakery. So it is all eateries that are on the map, but you do have one or two places as well to buy some different bits and pieces. You can see all the clothing, everything is just on the outside just there. So you can buy bits and pieces if you want to. I do believe that's more of a hybrid shop, which I think we have gone into. So I do believe I have filmed this souvenirs shop, because it has something of everything from every land as almost a last ditch pickup point. So it's got almost the best of everything in there, and that store is enormous, and it continues onto the outside as well. So what they have to do, I don't know when it starts to rain out of nowhere. I'm assuming that they'll just keep their eyes on the weather forecast, and then they will just bring it in quickly when they need to, so obviously all the clothing won't get damp. Then you've got another shop just on the inside just here, and obviously going by the theming of this one, it was all the different Christmas different bits and pieces, but again, I would imagine that would be rethemed to different things throughout the seasons. But I would really like to know what that is as a generic store. So maybe that's why that isn't on the map, because it might be closed and they only open it up for different seasonal events maybe. But you can see lots and lots of people leaving and not so many people coming in. So again, like I said, I don't know what they were setting up for. They did do that at Universal Studios on one night, where they actually blocked off one of the lands, so you couldn't get in there with about an hour to go. And they were setting up loads of tables and chairs on the outside, so that did look really, really nice and effective. But again, guys, we are now really starting to run out of time. We've got about a minute and a half left. So I'll say it one more time. If you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Comments below what you think of this park. Have you been here before on the Islands of Adventure side? Do you prefer Islands of Adventure or Universal Studios? And what is your local park? Because I'd love to know your feedback. Is it worth me going to some of these other parks around the world? Because I would like to explore and see different bits and pieces. Because I know with Florida, you're very, very lucky with it being on its own resort with regards to the hotels and things like that. Whereas some of the other theme parks, I don't think have that luxury because the resort isn't as big. Whereas Disney tend to have the hotels and the resorts always quite close together. So we are still coming out the port, so you can see that this is the actual exit side of it, and then you've got the other bit where it is the entry side of it. So this is where it kind of splits up into a horseshoe. And then what we'll finish on is we'll finish on the Islands of Adventure symbol, which is different to the big Universal Studios globe. So if you didn't know what the Islands of Adventure symbol looks like, it's this big tall thing just here, which is obviously a massive lighthouse. Right? It's got the Islands of Adventure symbol just on the front. So you can see what the exit, just walk straight through it, absolutely no problem, as mountains of people are leaving. And then you've got all of City Walk to explore, which you can take a huge amount of time looking around all of the different shops in there. And then if you had the legs for it and you had the time for it, you then got another theme park to explore as well. So spoiled for choice. If you get a multi-hop park pass ticket, I highly recommend that. But guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Ta-da.